winners.
That's sage advice right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
By the way, tribe of hairy gorilla women or hairy women is probably not the term I'd use to describe them either.
Is that even true?
Hey, it's a factoid. It must be.
Oh my! All right, we'll go with that.
Good morning. It is 22 minutes after 8
It's
o'clock.
on Facebook. It's got to be true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everything.
And if you believe that,
That's a quote from Abe Lincoln. Everything you read on the internet is true.
yeah.
But
I remember when he said that.
that's
yeah.
right. It was right there after the Gettysburg Address.
Right.
But anyway, good morning. Joining us in studio this morning, Mayor Dennis Kintigh, Mayor of Roswell. Officially, good morning.
Good morning.
Here's
Hey,
your
it's been a
official
while.
good morning. Yeah, it's been I think since last month.
Yeah.
And I think I know because over the last year, we've really talked to you a couple times a month with just COVID updates and things.
Well,
and
we took a little bit of time off.
Yeah,
Got out
and-
of town, so we relaxed.
Did you go anyplace nice or?
Yeah, but I'm not telling you where.
Okay.
Or anybody else.
Palm trees?
No.
Family?
No.
Okay.
No. That was the thing.
Cold or warm?
Colder.
Ooh.
Not real cold, but
Moose cold?
like in pleasant chill.
Okay, nice. All right, well, good
All
for
right.
you. But you got some R&R and unwinding and good deal. Well, good for you. Enjoyed. Now you're back and ready to deal with the fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and actually tonight's a busy night for the council. I mean, something that's been in the lexicon of New Mexico government for years now. Now the city's got to do their part on making sure the city's in compliance with our new marijuana recreational rules and laws and things. So that's a lot tonight is, I guess, one of the phases of several coming up that they kind of lay out the game plan for how we distribute and sell and do all this stuff.
Yeah, it's called dealing.
Dealing.
It's called slinging. We're gonna sling. How we're legally gonna sling marijuana. Yeah, actually, tonight's agenda is interesting. That's going to be the big item. The rest of it's pretty much housekeeping.
Okay.
We're going to start off with a presentation from Dr. Sean Powell, great guy.
ENMUR president.
Yeah, and about the scholarship programs down there, helping to get the word out to the community.
Excellent.
So we do that. We do these.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
There is so much money that goes unclaimed.
I know.
In college thing. If you're looking to go to college in the fall here or even in the spring, go talk to I don't care how much money you got or how little money you got. Go talk to financial aid. There's probably free money out there because a lot of people think, well, I don't qualify or because of money or because my parents make whatever reasons we think. Odds are pretty good. There's something out, even if it's just 500 or 1,000. Every little bit helps.
Every bit helps.
So sorry, when you were talking about that, I just want to throw that in real quick. Is please, folks, go get that. The money's there. Use it.
Gotcha. All right, so we're going to have two public hearings. Now, the first one up, and we did this on purpose. We put the liquor license up first. It's for Backdraft Barbecue, which is where 3rd Street Station used to be. Over there on Railroad. When everybody goes, where's Railroad? Railroad is a north-south street to the east of the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
So it's 3rd and Railroad.
Yeah.
So those guys are getting their restaurant liquor license.
And they've been open in that location for several months now.
Yeah.
They probably most people know them by their food truck. They were in downtown, and I'm not sure if they still have the food truck or is it strictly brick and mortar now. But
I don't know. It's a good question.
All I know is they got good eats.
Yep, they do. So that's going to be up tonight, first thing up, and it's going to be on that. Then we move into proposed ordinance 2109. Amending the city code dealing with chapter 27. That's kind of
that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah. Basically, it's the marijuana stuff.
Okay.
And this is a complex and difficult. The folks in Santa Fe have done us no favors. They have restricted what we can do in a lot of ways and yet have failed to provide clarity on what really needs to be done.
So they say what you can't do, but not giving you guidance on what you can do?
Yeah, sort of. Anyway, we're working hard to try and establish an orderly, rational way of dealing with this whole system. And there's lots of issues here that, like I said, simply haven't been resolved. One of the things is dealing, and this is not in the ordinance, but it's just came up recently. Banks still can't deal with this. because it's still
A federal crime.
federal crime.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, what's going
And
on?
they're FDIC,
Yeah.
so federally insured, which means, they might lose those.
So there's supposedly
standings.
two state banks that handle this, but
And they're not FDIC insured, I'm guessing?
I don't know.
Which doesn't make people feel safe, does it?
Anyway, but a lot of tonight is going to be just laying out a map, shall we say, of where we're looking at establishing these rules. And things like defining the setbacks for how far they have to be from a school, from
Gotcha.
playgrounds, 300 feet, but from what to what?
Sure.
Is it from property line to property line or wall to wall? Those kinds of things.
Now, this is the kind of stuff and this is what I asked you off air here, is that the kind of details that we can just use the same information that currently in place for liquor laws? And
That's what's driving a
establishments?
lot of this is our same standards that we have for alcohol sales.
Yeah.
Also, density. They're allowing us, and the wording is vague, but you don't want it, like 15 pot shops on Main Street.
You don't want a pot district?
Yeah, pot district. No, we don't want to. And what we're looking at is establishing certain areas that are family friendly, such as downtown around the UFO Museum.
Sure.
This is an area that a lot of pedestrians walk. And so there will be a long presentation because this is a complex discussion item, and we expect to be working on this for another couple months.
Gotcha.
We have to get something in place because the state is trying to say, hey, if you haven't done anything by September 1, then you can't change. And it's very bizarre how they're doing this. See, one of the other problems is from those who wish to get into this business is they can't do it until April 1st. They cannot lawfully sell until April 1st.
Okay.
So the challenge becomes, what are the rules? And we haven't had a chance to define the rules. Some people want to jump the gun and start now, but you can't. And my encouragement to all those who choose to get into this is, why don't you wait until things are defined before you start investing your monies in locations and facilities.
And this is my naivete on this, but like when a marijuana store opens up, for recreational or any whatever it is, where a place you can go and buy marijuana.
Right.
When you walk in there, the product, and this is where, like, you go to a liquor store, odds are they're buying product from distillers and breweries and things. They're not making the product there. At a marijuana store, are they growing their own marijuana and selling it, or are they buying it like from marijuana? I don't know. How does that work?
That's a bit unclear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. We'll find out tonight. But
because I imagine that's got to come into play on obviously where you can grow it versus where you can sell it.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure you don't want to just have big pot fields in some guy's backyard,
No, matter of fact, that's going to be one of the things we're talking about is, you're allowed to grow under the state statute. What we're requiring is inside the city limits, you do your grows indoors. You do not have them out where other people can see, not to be visible, and it's to be in a permanent structure. So do your growing inside. I think it's 6 or 12. I forget the next number of plants. It's really not critical. And so there's lots more coming on this. We're trying to clarify, and we want to do it in a way that everybody knows what's going on.
Sure. And I would imagine you've talked to, because every other city, county, municipality in the state's dealing with this same issue.
Absolutely.
Is there any kind of consensus among other cities and things that are like some game plan? Everyone's saying, you know what, this is kind of a good.
We have been actually contacted by other municipalities about what we're working on and what we've got. So you understand, we've got a team, 3 counselors, the chairperson of public safety, the chair of finance, and the chair of legal, working with the city attorney and the community development director and the deputy city manager. That team has been working tirelessly on this for months to get us to this point.
Gotcha.
And so that's what we've been treating this very seriously. So,
gotcha. So basically, do we have until April to get this in place? Because that's when they can officially start selling, or do you have to get it done by September?
We're not going to have everything done by September. We're going to have the first bite tonight, and we keep working on this. I really think we will have it before the end of the year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now,
I didn't know what kind of deadline.
But then what does the legislature do when the session comes up, because there's some holes in this legislation that we don't even know how are they going to correct, or are they going to correct.
Gotcha.
So we will deal with this the best we can. But once again, I will say I'm very disappointed with the legislature and the governor on this whole property. She pushed this hard in a special session and did not allow for any rational amendments. She bludgeoned this.
Yeah.
And, this is kind of, I'm getting a little political here, but it's frustrating. You don't come up with good public policy in that manner. You've got to have thoughtful discussion. And when it didn't pass in the session, she threw a little fit. And so she bludgeoned them.
They wanted it quick, not right.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Not right. And that's what we got. We got quick, not right.
Yeah.
All right. So now we would have normally had a bunch of consent items, but this morning we got notified that Councilor Oropesa chose to remove some items from consent.
Okay. Which is kind of normal.
Like normal. They're dealing with RFP on tree removal, RFP on janitorial supplies, purchasing a new 5-yard dump truck, the weeds resolution. There's something like 80 properties getting weeds notification. And, of course, yes, I know the
good monsoon season will do that.
Monsoon season. And cities were frantically trying to mow its stuff, too. I mean, we've got crews out every darn day. And then we got this disposal of surplus property that has been, we ended up with. Some of it was donated to the library years ago, and there's like furniture items. And there's old
you know what?
cars.
I saw the auction items on there. Yeah, if you're needing some stuff, there's some of it I looked through. I was like, you know what? For $50, that's not bad.
Hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
Then we get into what would have been our normal business, and it's interesting. This is, like I said, this is going to be nuts and bolts housekeeping. We just passed the final budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
back in July,
July 29th.
Yeah.
Okay. We had this long debate discussion, and I kind of go, counselors, we've only got 23 and a half hours to get this to be. Anyway, that was one of my moments.
Buddies.
I was like, what the heck? We're beating this horse to death. Anyway, but we've got to amend it because after that meeting, we got the first of this federal money. Now, in the budget, just so you know, we had a line item, but we didn't have any dollars in it. Well, the dollars show up like 2 days later or whatever. So we've already got to amend the darn thing.
Was the number around what you expected? Or
it's like half of the 11.7.
Oh, so now you got to go back and fix.
Yeah, it's like 5.9.
So how's that going to impact? I mean, that's a pretty.
We got to
big...
figure out how we can spend it.
Yeah,
that's part of the now.
So this is extra money. This isn't part of the planned budget money.
No,
this is so it's not going to hurt anything.
Now,
but
just so you know. And this is my philosophy on this money because there's all these kind of restrictions supposedly that, you can spend on this, but what is this? This is kind of vaguely defined. My intention, and we all know I don't have a vote, is I will beg for forgiveness instead of asking for permission.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's how we're going to spend this money.
Gotcha.
But we're also looking at this as one-time money, and we've got counselors are looking at it. The staff has looked at it. We're trying to come up with a priority list and how we want to.
Is there any strings as far as it's got to be used for this, or
that's
this?
what I'm saying. Is they got these things like, and some of it's stuff that, you can spend it on masks and cleaning fluids. We don't need to spend $11 million on. We don't have
a lot of
masks
masks and cleaning.
We didn't buy any masks.
I think all of us in town could have like 7 masks, and like
we could have 7 million masks.
And I didn't get into the cleaning fluid gallon.
All right. So anyway, we got to do this adjustment, and it's like, okay, dokie, we're gonna go there. A nominee for Commission on Aging, our dispatch center, awesome group of people. By the way, I think they still got a couple openings down there. Dispatch is, let me just say this about that: good dispatchers are worth their weight in gold. These are primarily women, but these can be anybody. Who want to get in the middle of law enforcement emergency services. A lot of people would have the desire to do this, but maybe because of physical handicaps cannot.
Mm-hmm.
This is your chance to be a true member of the team. I will tell you, it's having a voice on the other end of the radio who is calm, professional, and helping to work you through a stressful situation is incredible.
Absolutely.
That person is a team member. So we're talking about some additional software to help them with to be more efficient. We're looking at getting this money, a grant, and so
because
I'm thrilled for them.
These folks are literally psychiatrists for the person that's having an emergency, keeping them calm, trying to get every piece of information they can. And then they got to relay that to the the first responder, so they're not flying blind when they come into the situation. Not only medically, but especially for law enforcement. When there's a domestic violence situation or something,
what's going on?
The only data the officer has going in is whatever the dispatcher can glean from the call. And a lot of the times, especially in like a domestic violence, it's flying blind for everybody. And so so the more information that dispatcher's getting, like is there weapons involved, is the better prepared the officers can be when they go into this situation. And same with the medical folks too. So dispatchers are they're kind of like the linemen in football. Like, they don't get all the glory and stuff for the quarterbacks and everything, but without them, all those people look like fools. And that's what dispatchers are.
And I misused the term first responder. I would argue dispatchers are first responders.
Absolutely. They're very much a critical cog in that process.
They answer that phone call. 911, what's the nature of your emergency?
Yep, absolutely.
They do it very calmly. They do it, and in the call volumes, they're like incredible. Something like 14,000.
I don't know if I could handle that. I would be like, "What? Are you crazy?" I would have trouble keeping my keel even as well. So yeah.
Then we got buying some stuff for pavement maintenance. Yes, we're working on our streets. An RFP on temporary employment services, equipping 10 police vehicles with the radios and stuff like that.
Okay.
Then we're looking at buying a John Deere excavator, a John Deere wheeled loader, a John Deere backhoe, and other stuff.
Is that for road crew or for wastewater?
I think this is the landfill.
Landfill, okay, or landfill. That's what I meant. When I said wastewater, I meant landfill.
This might be the road because the next one is another one for a Caterpillar scraper. Those things are expensive. That's $550,000.
They are cool though.
Yeah, they are. Very cool. And we got this crusher thing out there at the landfill. This thing was like so big. Caterpillar had to bring it in parts and assemble it.
Oh, wow.
It was so stinking heavy. And what it does is it packs down.
That's the one that pushes down.
Oh, my God.
I know last time we talked.
1.3 mil.
Yeah. Speaking of that, just a quick update. I know last time we talked, with the rain and all that, they were dealing with some cell issues. Is that started to work itself out a little bit down there? Are they
miraculously, the geniuses have figured out how to extend the life of Cell 4 for about 5 months because we really got screwed with the rain on Cell 5A, which is the new cell we're desperately trying to get up and operational.
Gotcha. So basically, you were able to buy some more time with Cell 4 to get Cell 5 ready to start filling here.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm going to miss that arm that I had to sell.
Well, poor guy had to give up a leg. You ought to see him.
I'm like, whoa, arm and a leg to get anyway. So we're getting there. All right, yeah. Now here's one for you. We're also doing the roof at the Roswell Test Facility. What is the Roswell Test Facility? Okay, that's that building complex that's way out east of town, almost to the Pecos River on the north side of the street.
Okay.
All right. What is that? What is that?
What are they testing in there?
Well, this is way back. This is a fascinating story because I had to do a lot of research on this. So, like in the late 50s, the government, the feds were very interested in trying to find out with ways of converting salty or saline or brackish water into drinkable or potable water.
I got you. Trying to tap into oceans for water supply.
Well, out here in the West, we've got a lot of salty water.
Yeah.
So the thing was to try and come up with ways. So this is a big test facility. It was built in like 1962 to do a research facility.
Okay.
And so they are working on different ways. And we ended up running a city water line out there, which, don't get me started, that cost us, because we had to replace it. And recently, a couple $1 million there. But anyway, so this is like, remember that TV series Lost?
Uh-huh.
All right, the Dharma Project?
Yeah.
Okay, so like in 1984, somewhere in there, they close it.
Okay.
They shut it down and walk away.
So I've left it, whatever's in there is in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's like...
It's like a picker's dream, I'm guessing. Like
it was like a Dharma project. I mean, you walk in there and they have like the forms you fill out for ordering stuff, the carbons, They had machine tools that, like, I don't know what they were worth, but, like drill presses and all kinds of stuff like that.
Huh.
They were working on some kind of stainless steel welding of a big tank and just left it.
They just stopped mid-project and...
Yeah. It's the
funding ended or whatever happened.
Weirdest darn thing. Anyway,
so what happens with that stuff?
I mean, we're in the process of trying to dispose of it.
Okay. So does it fall into the city's property when they abandon
it? The city.
Okay.
See, like this is what the feds do.
Yeah.
The feds say, "Well, we're done with this. Here, city of Roswell." Like, we got an airport that way,
Yeah.
Like, whoa,
we don't need this base no more. Here, you got an airport now, and figure out what you want to do with it.
And that's another issue down there, boy. Anyway, so they gave us this thing. We got to put in a new roof on. But the good news is we're finding some tenants for it, and we're working our way into proper utilization of this.
Okay.
And we'll get there.
Okay.
But we got to put some money into the roof.
Are some of these items in there like collectible, like museum-worthy type things?
I mean, like
maybe
for the UFO museum?
Or something like that?
We're not, Mike. This is public radio. We cannot be discussing this.
I mean, like the floating
XQR.
Bodies in the jars.
This is compartmentalized XQR related. You know what that means.
It means he's got to get his little blinker pin out.
Yeah. I got to do the whole town.
But like, I mean, no, I joke. But like, say, I mean, is there any equipment that might be something like one of the museums could utilize as a piece for an exhibit or something, or is it not that valuable?
I don't think it's that exotic.
I don't know. In my head, I'm just thinking like some kind of sealed vault of things from 20, 30 years ago, and
there are tunnels connecting the buildings, which is even more. I mean, this would be the perfect place for some type of UFO alien thingy, but anyway.
Oh, you thinking like a tourist avil, maybe?
Yeah.
Making like a Area 51-esque place, escape room,
that's my
crazy thing, something
that
out there.
That would be my thing.
I like it. Maybe like a haunted alien experiment lab or something. I could see it.
Klypto, Barata,
I think
Nikto.
So. I like it.
Pluto, Barata. Now the question is, how many people out there know what I was talking about?
I'm lost. I don't know that.
Yeah, the day the Earth stood still.
Oh, okay. Which, by the way, you can see a replica of the robot in the museum there.
So we will finalize the evening with a closed session. Some people are going, what, you're suing the state tax and revenue? No. I mean, we are not. They're not suing us. Every city in New Mexico is suing.
It's a collective.
Yeah, that do how they were dealing with gross receipts tax collections.
Gotcha.
And so we're going to talk about where that stands. But no, we weren't the drivers on this railroad. We're along for the ride.
Sure.
But we need to be up to speed on it. And because it's pending litigation, blah, blah, blah.
It's like a class action lawsuit, basically.
Basically, it's with 103 municipalities. I don't know if they all got on board, though, but there's like 103 municipalities from, Albuquerque to like Corona in size.
And they're all shorted a percentage of their gross receipts. Which
that's the claim anyway.
That surprises.
So, it's like our friends in Santa Fe do us in. No. Tell me it ain't so. Yeah.
I've been telling people lately, you want to learn why New Mexico's New Mexico? Go to Lincoln, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And just read everything in the courthouse and in just about the Santa Fe ring and just all of the linking. And you look at that, and that's New Mexico in a nutshell. That's why New Mexico the way it is, the history, and why the so many long years of corruption and just dumbness that's in the state.
How about the former House Majority Leader Cheryl Stapleton?
Yeah,
who was up there when I was up there in the legislature, and she goes back to like 94, I think, in the legislature.
Yeah,
and interesting lady. This I will tread very carefully here because everybody's innocent until proven guilty.
Sure,
but she was a very prominent person and heavily involved in the leadership of the Democrat Party. At the time I was there, she was what they called the whip.
Okay.
But when the Democrats took the House back in, was it 14 or 16? They took it back in 16, and Mr. Egoff became the Speaker. She was elected by the members of the Democrat House of Representatives to be their majority leader. So they chose her. That's how this works. It wasn't some appointment by, no, they chose her. So they chose this individual who had been ripping off. And there's a facility, a building, a complex, whatever, named after her.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm a broken record on this, but like, you don't name stuff after living people.
Exactly.
It's called the Joe
weird.
Paterno concept.
It is weird.
It is. Don't do that.
It's a, yeah.
Wait till
Just
so
that
like,
it's on the
wait
right,
until
it's
I'm
weird.
dead.
Yeah.
And when I'm dead, then you can name Kintigh's commode. Or some kind of outhouse. Name an outhouse after me. Yeah, we'll build an outhouse somewhere.
There we
and
go.
You can name it after me.
There you
but
go.
after I'm dead, you know.
Yeah.
Wait a few years, and who knows? By then you might say, "Oh no, not after that guy."
I would say come to the Dennis Kintigh rest area for relief. We get a plaque, the whole deal. I'll keep your legacy alive.
There we go. What is the late one? Never mind. Anyway, so moving right along. Anyway, but it's distressing that this went on as long as it did, supposedly undetected by a person who is not just we're not talking about somebody sitting in an office somewhere and just quietly siphoning off stuff. This was a very prominent person, big in the education establishment.
Yeah, well, you've seen quite a few people have been put on leave and suspensions too on that side of things.
What the heck is going on?
Yeah, and I imagine there's going to be more coming. I imagine they're just kind of peeling back layers, and there's probably some more layers
we have
to peel
to
back.
hope for, and we have to hope that this does not get sidetracked and buried. So we'll go. Let me change gears, if I may.
Yes,
because I talked about this ahead of time.
Yes.
And I was saying to you about I wanted to get something out there to
make it official.
Yeah, we'll make it official. But it's the reality here. Okay, a lot of people have asked questions. I've gotten some emails about what's the city's position on vaccines and stuff like that. All right, let me start off with this. I am a huge advocate of the Trump vaccines. Yeah, I call them the Trump vaccines because if it wasn't for President Trump, there wouldn't have been an Operation Warp Speed. We wouldn't have these vaccines. But it was President Donald Trump who pushed this hard. A lot of people snarled at him. People threw rocks at it. But we got some excellent vaccines that are available. I have been vaccinated. My wife has been vaccinated. 2 of my 3 daughters have been. So we are believers in the vaccine. That being said, the city of Roswell, this administration does not and will not require employees to be vaccinated. It is up to you as an individual, if you work for the city of Roswell, to decide whether it's good for you or not. You're grown-ups. We do not employ children. You are grown-ups. Make your own decision. Same thing on masks. Whether you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, whether you've already had the virus or not, you are expected to make your own health decisions. If you choose to wear a mask, that's fine. If you don't choose to wear a mask, that's fine too. If you notice, I don't wear a mask. We have maybe 1 or 2 counselors who will. That's up to them.
Sure.
And so when you come to these meetings tonight, if you come to that meeting,
personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility. We're expecting everybody to be grown-ups, take care of themselves. And as long as I'm around, this is still America in Roswell. So, be responsible for yourself.
Absolutely. And this is me this is not the city's official, but I will add this in there, and I don't think you would mind this. I would also throw a caveat and please respect other people's decision too, if it's not your own.
Agreed.
If you're sitting on someone and you're like, oh, they should be wearing a mask or not be wearing a mask, whatever, leave that to yourself. If you don't feel comfortable sitting next to them, don't sit next to them. Sit somewhere else.
Right.
But respect other people's personal decision as well. And and let's get on to the business of taking care of business and not who's wearing what, where, when, and why. There's a lot of good work not getting done because we're distracting ourselves with stupid stuff like you should wear a mask or not wear a mask. This is dumbness. We got kids that are failing in school right now because people are arguing over masks instead of being their butt in school doing the things the right way and all.
Exactly. So, like I said, I believe in the Trump vaccines. I love calling them that, by the way, because it irritates certain. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to do that, am I? All right. Man, I'm not as good you know who was really a good politician? Jason Perry. But he's a pastor, so he's always nice to everybody.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm just too out there. It's my character flaw. I mean, I'm like
I get like you. I'm pretty nice, easygoing, but I'm opinionated, and when people say something I think is dumb, it's really hard for me to not say something.
Yeah,
I
get it. Like, all right, okie dokie. But anyway, so I encourage folks to get the vaccine. I recognize there's some situations where it is not desirable, and I also recognize that it's not really geared for children. Now this is all still tentative approval. It's not gotten final approval, so I'm not real comfortable with the idea of young children because children do not tend to be susceptible to COVID, at least not severely. Does that mean children never get it? No, that's not what I'm saying. And there's
the
also
percentages are lower compared to other categories.
And so and there's other talk about, well, if I get it, I can get, even though I'm vaccinated, I could still get the Delta version. And theoretically,
you can still get the other versions too.
There are some people, but
it's only 99%. There's a 1%. So,
exactly. I mean, we've not eliminated polio, and to assume that we can continue with these restrictions until the virus is gone is not going to happen. COVID is going to be with us forever, folks. It's never going to go away. We have to learn how to live to the maximum while this is around. Yeah. And
well, it's the vaccines, and that's how we eradicate these things. And there's a reason why we don't have polio. I said polio.
Polo's that game with horses.
Well, we don't have a lot of that either. But
we used to up at the institute, but we got rid of it because I got a vaccine against
vaccinated
polio.
the polo guys.
Yeah.
But no. But there's a reason why there's not. You don't know anybody with polio. Because we had a polio. Same thing with smallpox.
Right.
It's pretty much. I mean, well, you saw what happened. There was a turn there where people were being anti-vaccine on these, and we saw a little spike in smallpox. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to be bringing back these archaic things we've eradicated?
This is really kind of funny because one of the big anti-vaccine folks, and I'm getting on the edge here because I am, like I said, I believe in vaccines. Quick disclosure, my father as a teenager had polio. Now he survived, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But his right leg was slightly shorter.
Okay.
And between the knee and the ankle was very small, was like withered.
Okay.
All right.
So he
walked with a limp.
Gotcha.
I never thought of my dad as handicapped because he never.
Sure.
It never
and that
held
was
him
probably
back.
one of the, because polio, I mean, he got lucky. And I guess what I'm saying is like there was much worse cases than that.
Yeah, the iron
he
lung.
got one of the, I guess he was less impacted than others that have gotten it.
Now, I can remember, when I was a kid, the Salk vaccine came out. That was the first polio vaccine. That was the first one, was a huge breakthrough. Polio was a frightening disease because as opposed to COVID, polio tended to attack
younger
children. It was infantile paralysis. Now, there were older people who got polio, went across the spectrum, just like with COVID. But as I say, COVID focuses on the older folks, my age and above.
Right.
And polio was the opposite.
And that's why they give you the polio vaccine when you're an infant, as opposed to when you're an adult.
When I was very little, I got the Salk, but then they came out with the Sabin, and it was an interesting little. I was reading a book about Salk, and there was a battle about whether you use dead viruses or live virus, blah blah blah. It's anyway. So there was an interesting little battle within the medical community. So the Sabin vaccine came out later. And I remember my dad taking me to get that. And it was a little sugar cube. You ate the sugar cube. And even though my dad had polio, this is what struck me. He took the vaccine too.
Okay.
Which was, I don't know, just one of those memories I have that just locked in.
Sure.
So where am I going with this whole point is I come from a family, my background is very much pro-vaccine.
Sure.
I'm very irritated with the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. clique that snarls at vaccines. Vaccines have been a huge change in the health of human beings.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and so it's this progressive elitist clique that is really the anti-vaxxers, and so I'm controlling myself here because I don't care to get into what this.
But you want to say no, get your vaccinations things. But city policy is you're grown adults. We will not require you or mandate you to get vaccinated or wear a mask. We encourage you to get vaccinated.
But like
if you're not vaccinated in certain crowded places, might be a good idea to put that mask on. But that's your decision. Not the government's decision.
And we're not going to. You come to City Hall. You come to the meeting tonight. We're not going to ask you if you're vaccinated. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. We're not going to ask you to wear a mask. We're not going to. This is not what we're. This is America. At least it is in Roswell.
Yeah.
And we are not going to have any type of passport. Vaccination cards.
What's next?
Like
flu shots? We're not going to let you in unless you had your flu shot.
We're not doing that.
That's the path people are going, and it's scary.
So I mean, the governor and her buddies up in Santa Fe, and she's got lots of buddies, some of them down here even, that they can push all they want to try and change. No, while this administration serves this city hall and this community, we will not be doing anything like that.
Very good, awesome. Well, we're out of time. We're about to go into news here. Tune in tomorrow morning, 7:35. The mayor will join us. We'll do the recap, and so we'll probably talk all about what came out of this ordinance with the marijuana and all the other stuff too. So
Well,
thank you, sir. Appreciate the visit, and hopefully you come in a new outfit tomorrow. That's a gift. If he's got that same tie on tomorrow, we know what happened.
Yeah, it's like,
all right.